I'm going around this morning doing early morning cold. It's cold. I know in California it can't be that cold, Kelly, but it feels cold here. Anyway, doing just a walkabout in the morning and gonna take a look at my aloes and see how they're doing. It's amazing with aloes how they change color. In the summer and the late fall, they were really a dark red kind of color. And when it starts to get colder weather, this is what happens. They turn into this green. And I'm going to show you on one of the other ones that I have, the candelabra. Let's go take a walk here. I want to propagate that so badly, but I'm thinking I probably should wait. I don't know. I'm going to get a second opinion on that today. I'll talk to Manny and see what he thinks. I've never really thought about it before, but some things I've read say that you shouldn't do it in the wintertime when it's the coldest. So I'm going to ask Manny and see if he propagates in the wintertime right now, if he's doing that with the aloes, and see before I do that. Now, just a month ago, it was completely, if you can see on the tips, it was completely that color, that dark red. And just within this last month, it's gone this beautiful green, almost green blue color. And I really love it. I like my aloes, but that one is just striking. And then I wanted to show you another one too. This is one of my other aloes. And see if I can find it. There it is. It's in bloom. And I don't know if you remember on one of the last videos, I talked about how bad it looked. And now look at it. The red is completely, well, almost completely gone, and it's blooming. I've never had them bloom in December before. They usually bloom, I want to say, in June. So maybe I'll get more blooms in June. I'm sure I will. So isn't that precious? I mean, look at this. Look at those. And the hummingbirds love those. They love aloe blooms. So yeah, that's a different kind of aloe. Sorry, different kind of aloe that I have here in the garden. I've probably got 5 or 6 different kind. I've got the hardy aloes. I'll show you those. This one right here, that's a hardy aloe. And that's much like the ones closer to the house. And I'll show you those too, that get very tall and they branch out and they have long yellow stalks. I think in June is when they came up this year. And again, hummingbirds love them. And then I've got 2 different kinds of aloes right here in the ground. One aloe brevifolia that I got as a pup off of one of the others, and these 2. And they're a type of, I don't think it's aloe vera technically. I'll have to use my plant ID and check on that, but I've got different kinds of aloes and I love them. One of the reasons I love them so much is because they do attract the hummingbirds, but besides that, their blooms are absolutely gorgeous. Indian blanket flowers that are blooming, and these are the new little blue daisies that I planted a week or 2 ago. 2, I think, 2 weeks. And here's more. And the lavender is actually coming back and looking good. This is lavender that I started from seed. It's totally possible to start lavender from seed. Imagine that. But I just sprinkled lavender out. That's one of the plants I got. There's another one right here. That's another lavender that I sprinkled from seed. And this one right here, which it doesn't have any blooms on it yet. And here, here. So I've got those all over. Here's another one right here. And I find if you just deadhead them often, take off some of those blooms, and they will just keep blooming and blooming away. And here I have all kinds of alyssum that I seeded, and I've shown you how to do that. You just take that and sprinkle it around just like that. And you'll get more and more because I like the purple splashed in. It's really pretty. And I've got a hebe here. I think that's how you say it. And it has acted like it wants to bloom for probably 2 months now and not bloomed. So I don't know if that's really going to happen or not. And the bugs are eating this guy, this Chinese lantern plant up, but it's got new foliage. I'll have to look into that and see what I can put on that. Alyssum is coming up right here and here. And there's the other blue daisy I planted. I have my foxgloves that are coming back, looking good. And my other one is right here. That was the one, if you remember, I had that really tall one. It must have been 8 feet. That's that one. So you can see the stalk where I cut it. And it's coming back at the base here, so that's good. Rain that we've gotten, yay, rain! The weeds are coming like crazy. Oh, you get the grass every once in a while that's coming in. So it'll be a lot of weeding to do here pretty soon. And here's that status. Remember, I talk about the status a lot. Sometimes can't remember its name, but status, and still blooming. December, getting close to January, still blooming. Started these from seed, super easy to start from seed. They're like one of the easiest plants that I start from seed. So yeah, beautiful. Love those. And I did, oh, I've got some daisies coming up, daffodils coming up here too. Oh, so daffodils. Those are probably paper whites, I'm not sure. Pulling weeds as I go here. Let's see. I got this recently, but it keeps falling over, and I think Larry the Lazy is knocking it over. So I'm going to have to secure that better. My little cactus I bought. Knock it over there too, but we'll put it right there for now. And yeah, the alyssum is coming up like crazy everywhere, which is good. Love it. More daffodils. They don't look like they're gonna bloom. I didn't separate these, and I should have, but my bad, didn't do it. So I don't think they're gonna bloom this year. And let's see what else. Just stick these weeds in my pocket. I know you do that too. This is the lavender, my oldest lavender. And I thought it was a lost cause, but would you look at that? I cut it down at the base, on the outside down below. And I've heard that don't cut into the hardwood of it, but I did. Because I wasn't losing anything. It looked like it was a goner. So I'm like, well, it's not going to hurt to try. So I did. I trimmed around here. And it's coming back. Look at all that fresh growth there. So if you have a lavender that's struggling and getting woody like that, try trimming it around the base, and hopefully it'll come back for you too like that. Isn't that wonderful? And I love this plant right here, and I was really sad to see it go, so I'm hoping that it makes a full comeback and looks really nice and sweet, because it smells sweet, and the bees love it. They absolutely love that lavender. And anything I can do to get the bees in the garden is a good thing. And again, just deadhead it often really helps a lot to keep blooming. And I really just throw the seeds off. So here's another one of the candelabra aloes, and same thing, it's turned from that bright orange color, dark orange actually, to the bright green, and I just love it. Now these, if you're not familiar, are ones that grow along the coast in Monterey, and they get really, really big. The older they get, taller they get, and really funky shapes, you can see. And I want to say I've seen some that are like 6, 7 feet tall over on the coast. And so hopefully these will get that way too. And really excited. I'm going to wait, I think, until early spring before I cut some off to propagate those. Because I definitely want more of those, and they're so easy. Aloes are so easy to propagate. Why not? This is that one plant that I showed you in one of the previous videos. I love this thing, and I'll put the name up. But you can see it's got the little blooms that it gets on it. Really little tiny orange. You know, you could barely, if you blink, you walking by, you'd miss them. But really neat. Another view here. I don't know if you can see that, but anyway. So really love that. I have another one. I had a third, but I think it got overwatered when I was in Ireland and didn't make it. But this is another one. And the wind the other day, just this thing was struggling in the wind. Funny, that one's doing fine, maybe because of the size of it, but this one, not so good. Coastal woolly bush is what it's called. And I love these plants. I mean, they're just the texture and how they look. They're wonderful, wonderful plants. And Catherine's garden, my granddaughter's garden, I call it, is a little overgrown and neglected these days. So at some point I need to get in here and go through these, but I do have calendula growing in here. And the aeoniums. For those of you who wonder if your aeoniums have those big tall blooms that they get, if it's a death bloom, here's evidence that it's not a death bloom. These both had those tall yellow blooms on them, really tall, and was really striking in the spring. And I cut it off at the base of the stalk, and they're coming back just fine. No problem. So it's not a death bloom. Don't worry about that. Lots of calendula in here. And a few things I throw in this garden because they're not doing well, and just say, okay, I'm just going to put it aside and hope for the best. And some of the things are coming back, so that's good. I have some osteoperium in here with some aeoniums. These I just take cuttings and stick in the ground and they'll grow, so just so you know. And I moved the little donkey cart without the donkey over to here. And this is the baby succulent euphorbia that I moved a couple months ago. And it's doing just fine, happy as can be. And this is my third candelabra aloes. And see, I can take one of the lower ones and just cut it off underneath there at the stalk, down deep by the mama, and let the ends dry out, stick it in soil after the ends callus over the cut ends, and get another plant out of it. So, but I'm going to wait till spring to do that, I think. But I'm going to talk to Manny about that and see what he says. And here's the artichokes that regrew. I cut them back all the way after they were done giving their fruit. And the flowers were beautiful, so worth it. I grew them for the ornamental purposes, and they're just so beautiful. They're loving this rain that we've been having. And yeah, gorgeous. Some new chairs that I got recently at Sweet Pea Antiques. There's 2 of them. This guy's gonna... So little kind of bistro chairs. Yeah, so I don't know if they're going to stay there, but I'm kind of liking them right here, so we'll see. And let's look again to see if the daffodils are coming up over here. Yeah, these, I didn't think these were daffodils when I looked the other day, but they are. Hopefully, again, they'll bloom. I can't remember if I divided any of these or not in here. Weeds, 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 weeds. Salvia, these salvias are doing great. The other one's not so great. They're dormant, but this one, these three are still blooming. Bright red. I think I did a video when I first started my gardening channel. I did a video on putting these in, and yeah, I love my salvias, and the hummingbirds love them. And you know, I find that at this stage I let them flower, and if they look like they're stopping the flowering process, I'll just kind of tip them off, like right here, just like that, and that tends to bring on more blooms. So and yeah, I've got my nasturtiums coming up here. There's some more daffodils. Hopefully I get daffodil blooms. I did plant some more daffodils in different places. So got my lamp. This is what happens. We're not used to having storms. But one of my lamps here came off, so later. But nasturtiums, and these are agapanthus that never, I think they're agapanthus, that never bloom for me. I've done everything I can think of to try and get them to bloom, and they don't. I've separated them, divided them, and whatnot. I've put fertilizer out. Nothing's helped. So, and this guy doesn't have a drainage hole, and he needs one. Let's see. This is identification for you for the sweet alyssum. What the seedlings look like. Weed. These things are nasty weeds. Nasty. I hate them. I'm sure they serve some kind of purpose, but I don't like them at all because they get those long seed heads on them, and then you have them everywhere if you don't take them out. And look at this. That is Mexican feathergrass. See, I pulled mine out. I did a video on it this year. I pulled all of mine out because it's so invasive, and I told you I'd be dealing with this for a very long time, and look, I will be. It does come up everywhere. In your pots, in the ground, just all over the place. So I'll be doing a lot of weeding, but more weeds in the pocket for later to take out. Did you do that too? This is the one that has the biggest pups on it, and I want to take these off, and not sure. I mean, I think they'll do fine because we don't have terribly cold weather, so I think they do okay, but I'm going to talk to Manny about that and get a second opinion. I usually don't bother, but I thought, you know, if I can wait and they'll do better, then I'll do that. All kinds of things seeded in here in the garden. I really want to build up this front section here. I had a lot of that Mexican feathergrass in, and it bulked up the garden right here. But now I pulled it out. I've got the lantana that I planted. It's not liking the cold, but hopefully it'll be okay anyway. But and I've planted a few other things, like one of the other blue daisies, and I can't remember what that is. And so I do have a bunch of different things growing in here. And then I've got the Shasta daisies, which, you know, I'm kind of like, do I keep the Shasta daisies or take them out? Because there does become a period where they're really unattractive in the garden. This is just a succulent type of jade, succulent that was somewhere else, and I had to pull it out. And I just stuck it in here, and poor thing. I mean, it's still growing and everything, but I need to do something about that too. All these need to do. Look at that. Can you see the blooms on that? Yeah. Isn't that something? It's really beautiful, and it's never bloomed before. Isn't that beautiful? Love that. And this thing really struggled when I first got it, and I thought it was a goner. I put it in a pot. I put it in a clay pot over here, and it since the roots grew through the bottom, and I'm not moving it because it seems happy. So Smells good. Smells good. And I have over here, these are the where I did the video and I had put in the daffodil bulbs and other kinds of bulbs. And I seeded with some of my alyssum out of the garden, and you can see the alyssum in this. So this gives you a good idea on what the alyssum seedlings look like. And so I've moved them out here so they can get some sun. And I'm gonna just do a light mist. They don't need a lot of water. They're shallow roots, so they don't need a lot of water. And I have ready to go ahead and do some sweet peas. Just going to show you how I get the sweet peas going. It's really very simple. And I have some that I'm going to be planting. Those are all the stems that they've grown and roots from the sweet peas. So all you need to do is get you some kind of container with paper towels or a baggie with a paper towel and keep it moist. You take the sweet peas out. So I just lay the seeds right on the paper towel. Try and get them where they're not too close together. Just like so. Then the other one is the Old Spice mix, and I'm not sure that I've grown this one before, but if you can see, they're kind of antique-y looking, which is really cool, kind of a dusty kind of colors, and I like that. So we'll go ahead and get those opened up and put into. Mom's supposed to be coming over mid-morning today, and we're gonna go to, and well, it's not a new pottery place, it's been there forever, but it's only probably 5 minutes away, and I haven't been there yet, and maybe get some video of that. We'll see how that goes. So I just kind of spread them out so they're not too close to each other, but they tend to roll. It's okay. I mean, it doesn't have to be, you don't have to be really picky about it. I'll pick these up after. And then you just want to take and lay over those sweet peas with the paper towels. Wet them down, just a thin layer of water to moisten the paper towels. And then I'm just going to go ahead and put some clear cellophane over the top and poke some holes so they do get some oxygen in there. And yeah, in just probably about 10 days, you'll start see some of them sprouting. And then at this point, what I'm going to do is I have some pots here. They have long tap roots, so if you're going to transplant them into soil instead of directly in the ground, you want some containers, nursery containers that are fairly deep like this. And so I'm going to go ahead and get some of those planted up. So I've got them out of the baggie, and this is what they look like. And I really could have pulled them out a lot earlier, but it's been a busy season. And then I'm just going to poke some holes in here, and it's really loose. So I'm just going to take, and you can see the leaf part of it already, so you know what orientation it needs to go. This actually has two, dropped one. So I'm going to take this and stick this in here just like so. And just real loosely for right now. And again, here's another one. Just take and load that one in. And again, loosely, I'll fill this in and tighten things up with the soil after I get them in place. Do them all at once. Just drop that in the hole, just like so. And so depending on where you live, You can start these this way and have them growing under grow lights in the house, and I can do that too. Or you can, if you live in warmer climates where it doesn't get to freezing very often. They are cool weather plants, so sweet peas can handle some cold. You might want to cover them if they're outside, maybe cover them with some kind of plastic dome, like a cut water bottle or something like that, gallon container or a soda container, whichever. And just drop these in. It's really very simple. I'll put more than one in this one because I've got more. And if you bury them, they'll still come up, so you don't have to worry about that. And I had one that I dropped in here. Let's get that guy out. So just put him in here and drop him in there. And he'll grow through, so don't worry about it. If you dunk him underneath, he'll grow through. And then you just want to keep the soil moist. They grow really quickly. And so I would moisten the top every, don't let it go dry. So every once in a while, just moisten that and keep the soil on the damp side until they grow a little bit more, and then you can start bottom watering them because the roots go really deep. And so if they're getting water from the bottom of a tray like this, that's all they need, and it will cut down on some of the gnats that you get too from too much moisture. So, and that's all there is to it. So that's with the sweet peas when you grow them in the paper towels, between paper towels, and they'll root within probably 10 to 14 days, and you'll have some sprouted up. These have probably been in my paper bag for my paper towels for probably 3 weeks, so I've gone a little bit longer. But let me flip you around. We'll go look at the ones that I already started a month ago, and I went ahead and direct sowed them. So let's take a look at those and see how they're doing, because I haven't looked at them since my last video. And yeah, looks like they're doing good. So this is a sweet pea. And what I'll do is I have these clips. I get these from the Dollar Tree, and I will clip them and train them to grow up this trellis that I have here. And so that's a sweet pea. This is a sweet pea. Here's another one. That one. And the other side. This one looks like it's getting eaten by something. Out of there. Sweet pea, sweet pea. So I could even put some more in here. Sometimes I tend to put overplant and have too many in, and then they're just competing. So I tried not to put as many, but it looks like I could use another one or two. And then I have another place that I put them as well, and I haven't checked those at all since I put them in. So let's take a look and see. I'm trying to get them to come up by the garden doors. I tried last year and they did come up, but they didn't thrive. I think I started too late and it was just too warm. But let's take a look and see. Not seeing them down here. I think the alyssum has taken over. So I might have to pull some of that alyssum to get them out. Darn it. Well, it's not too late to try again. But that's gardening. And just get through here. I need to trim some of this rock purslane. This is rock purslane. Here where I live in zone 90, it flowers pretty much year round. more so in the spring and summer, but even now, you can see it's December and it's blooming. And the Mexican sage has never looked so good. It is really stunning right now. I'm loving it. I did have some, and this is really easy to propagate, just so you know.